Hey, I'm Tim McMahon. Welcome to Inside Toledo. This is a show where we take video chat tours of people's homes here in Northwest Ohio. And to be fair, I'm working from my home here on Maple Street in Perrysburg. We just want to see how everybody's adjusting to the quarantine, working from home, and just living their daily lives. Right now, my guest is Zak Vassar. He's with the Toledo Alliance for Performing Arts. Did I get that right, Zak?
Very close. It's the Alliance for the Performing Arts. You got it.
So I missed the duh. That's really it. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Oh, happy to be here, Tim. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Let's get a little background on what you do with TAPA, because this is kind of a relatively new organization, correct?
Yeah, it's a new organization made up of two really long-standing organizations. So in January of 2019, the Toledo Symphony and the Toledo Ballet formally merged, and the organization that they created is called TAPA. So prior to that, I was the president of the Toledo Symphony, and now I oversee this larger organization.
So what exactly are your duties on a day-to-day basis, and how have those changed?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, if you just look at our organization, it's a large organization. We all told, we have just shy of 200 employees. That includes, the largest bulk of that is our full-time Toledo Symphony musicians. So we have a core of about 60 full-time musicians. And this is an industry that's kind of predicated on this sense of the show must go on under all circumstances. The symphony is 76 years old and the ballet is 80 years old. So in the course of those very long-standing brands, we've never really seen something like this where we have to cancel such a large variety of our performances. We're not in the business of canceling concerts. We'd much rather do them and perform for our audiences, but given the realities of the current situation, we just can't do that right now.
How are you maybe planning ahead? Like, how far in advance can you anticipate having concerts again? Or basically, how are you guys adjusting your schedule?
We are investigating the opportunity of maybe adding some performances in August. Normally, we wouldn't begin our season until September, but we have a lot of great shows that we had to postpone and cancel from the spring that we'd love to bring back to the audiences in Toledo sometime in August.
Alrighty, and you guys always do a great job, and you always say kind words about our coverage as well. We love coming out there and covering and showcasing anything that you guys are doing. So we can't wait to do that again. We really look forward to it. But now we're going to do something different. So we're going to see how you're sort of adjusting this. Give us an idea of what we're going to see on a tour of your home.
So we're in my house right now. My wife and I moved here in June, so we've been in this house just for under a year. It's a really pretty home. We're in Ottawa Hills.
Okay.
The house was built in 1931. Our last house was built in 36, and my wife and I promised each other that we'd never move into an older house, because older houses have a ton of character but a ton of maintenance. So of course we didn't live up to that. We ended up moving to a house that was 5 years older. So as you can see behind me, there's a ton of leaded glass. The ceiling has some awesome plaster work in it. And I love that about these rooms. And I'll just kind of walk you around and show you where we are. One of my favorite things are, there's a lot of really cool stained glass in these old windows here. You can see these different shapes and pictures. Some are like countrysides. Some are really cool, like castles. I imagine that whoever built this house probably had a lot of kids who loved looking around at these little things. We're right now in our living room. This is what I kind of consider our music room. You see we have a piano, a really pretty old piano that we've taken some good care of. I also have in the corner an old Victrola, which I can show you if you want to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So I turned 40 in December, and this is my wife's 40th birthday present to me. So So a lot of people think of Victrolas as the sort of thing with the big bell that comes out the side. But this unit here is from 1915, and it's been beautifully restored by a fellow who lives down in South Carolina. So if you raise this top, you can see, here's the guts. It looks like a turntable, but it's got a really cool crank on the side. So let's see what we have here. This is appropriate. We got Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin. He's actually playing this with the Paul Whiteman Orchestra. I think this is a recording from 1929. But here's how it works. You just give it a big old crank like this. You can't really over crank these things. And there's a little switch back here. You have to remember this whole thing is completely analog. There's no plug into the wall, so it just moves on its own. And this head is actually really heavy weight. So when you put it down, this is your volume control. And you have Rhapsody in Blue.
That's awesome.
And if you want it to get quieter, you just close these guys up. That's your volume control. You got to just imagine, sitting in a room like this, in a house that's from the 30s. This is probably very much like what listening to music was like when this house was first built.
Yeah, it takes you right there. I think this house really reflects you as a person. Very artistic, just a lot of unique parts to it, very creative.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We hope that we live in places that epitomize what we're interested in. So we're heading here in the foyer. We're going into the dining room. This is my wife. That's Emily.
Hi.
My wife's an attorney with Eastman and Smith. She's doing a lot of employment law, so that's her practice area. So given everything that's going on right now, definitely a busy time for her. But we've been both working here from the house for since about St. Patrick's Day, and we've been making it work. We have trappings of the sort of things that people do in quarantine.
Yes.
Puzzles all over the place. We have two daughters. My 5-year-old is very interested in puzzles right now, so we got a lot of that going on. We are also spending a lot of time in this room. This is our kitchen. We've been cooking like crazy and finding some really good ways to spend time with the kids. We've been making cakes and bread and eating in a lot more than we ever do. So it's really kind of reaffirming to have these ideas of what the family dinner is like, and coming together at the table at the end of the day. And after spending so much time together, those dinner rituals are really, really important. So
Absolutely.
I'm really excited that we're able to really remember to break bread as much as we can. So, back into the dining room, this is kind of one track. If we go through here, you can look back to the front of the house, which is that way. There's Emily again. Back this way is our family room. My two daughters and our sitter here named Mary. Let me just turn on some lights.
I need to tell you something.
What are we watching here, Grace?
Frozen 2.
You're watching Frozen 2?
I need to tell you something when we talk.
Okay.
Wait.
Do you want to say hi? Do you want to talk? Can you say hi to my friend Tim?
Hi.
Hi.
And over here we have Margaret. This is my younger daughter, and our really wonderful babysitter Mary, who's saving us right now. We wouldn't be able to get through all this work if we didn't have some help.
Everything from like when you showed the ceiling earlier and the molding and stuff, you don't see those kind of touches in a lot of newer homes.
We really don't. And we fell in love with this house in a really special way. And, there's a big backyard for the kids to run around in. And, we have just a lot of space right now that we can kind of spread out and make our own. My office has been down in the basement the last couple weeks. So we like to bunker down there, and allows the kids to really be up here during the day and have as minimal impact on their day-to-day life as we can.
Well, thanks again, Zach, for welcoming us in. Obviously, we can't wait till everything gets back up and running again, as I'm sure you feel the same. But yeah, I love the house, and thanks for taking us on this tour. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. These are strange times, and I think we'll all look back on this. One of our kind of hallmark ideas as we were trying to figure out our vision through this was that everybody was going to be really shocked through all of the changes that everybody needed to make in their daily lives. And we really wanted to think about ways that we could use our art form to kind of console and comfort everybody in what is really kind of uncomfortable and challenging times with a lot of uncertainty. So we really quickly had to realize that we couldn't do concerts anymore. So how are we going to bring the product to people in their homes? So we've done a lot virtually. We live streamed a concert. We've put some product on public broadcasting. We've tried many different ways to make music for the community, even putting together Spotify playlists and things like that. But I think we've been very innovative in the ways to bring this sense of beauty and calm and warmth to the community, because we would much rather be together doing it. But if we have to do it from afar, I think we found some interesting ways to do it.